Good morning, first grade. Happy Tuesday. Trying a new setup here, so hopefully you can see everything. But good morning, and I'm glad that you're here. And yesterday you took some math assessments, and those of you who have already sent them in, you're doing a phenomenal job. So keep up the great work. I'm very proud of you. But today we're going to learn a little something new. Hopefully, each day you are singing your math songs. If you don't know where those are, or if you've forgotten them, underneath the math section on our dashboard, I've uploaded a PDF that says math posters. Those are all the math songs that we sing during math morning meeting each and every day for review and just to get our mind straight and our mind right for math. So hopefully you're doing that. This morning I want us to go ahead and sing together our time song. Now we've been telling time to the hour, and we've been telling time to the half hour. Now we're going to be going into depth a little more to the minute and little stuff like that. We talked about it a tad bit before we left for spring break, but now we're really going to jump in. Today we're going to figure out and how to identify how long things might take us that is an hour, how long things that take us minutes, and even seconds. But before we do that, let's go ahead and sing our time song together. All right, and I have our hour hand and our minute hand, but let's do our movements too, because who doesn't like to move? All right, so let's go and get started. We say, the hour hand's the shortest hand. So first we say that one. The minute hand's the longest hand. We say it, then we're done. It's short, then long. It's short, then long. Short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long. Telling time is fun to do. Fun for me and you. Good. So we know when we tell time, we read the hour hand first, which is the very short hand. We always read that one first. And then we say the minute hand, and then we're done. So that's pretty easy for us to remember. So first, let's talk a little bit about how long we think things are. So when I talk about a second, what do you think are some things that you can do that take a second? Hopefully you're saying some things. Like right now, the first thing that pops in my head is it takes me 1 second to snap. Pretty easy, right? That's about 1 second. Or it might take me 1 second to say a number. 2. That was a second. So those things are really, really fast. Seconds move quickly. Whenever we talk about minutes, I normally give you about 2, maybe 3, 2 minutes to write your name and the date on the top of your paper. That usually takes us about 2 minutes. So what are some things that might take you 2 minutes? Go ahead and tell your mom or whoever you're working with something that might take you 2 minutes. So let's back up 1 second. We know that 1 minute equals how many seconds? You should remember that. Okay, 1 minute equals 60 seconds. Well, let's back up even before that. I said that I could say a number in 1 second, right? 4. There was a second. So if I started at 1 and counted to the number 60, taking my time and not rushing, then it would probably take me 1 minute, because I know there are 60 seconds in a minute. Now we're kind of putting the pieces together. So today we're going to try and identify how long it would take us to do certain things, whether it take an hour, a minute, or a second. All right? But first, let's go ahead and get warmed up with telling time. Now, you know I don't have my Judy clock, and y'all know I love my Judy clock. But it's at school, so we have to improvise, and we're going to adjust, and that's okay. Because we can do the same thing with my handy dandy clock here. So we know when we tell time that the hour hand points to the hour, and sometimes it points in between a number. But you should remember that if the hour hand is pointing in between the number, it's always the number to the left or the smaller number, unless it's up here at the 12 and 1. But most of the time, if it's in between a number, it's going to be the smaller number. So if I have my hour hand pointing to, let's have my hour hand pointing here first. Let's go here. Okay, it's between the 6 and 7, so I know it's going to be 6. That's my hour first. And then let's go in between. Now we remember, hopefully you remember, and I know you do, that when we figure out the minutes, we always count by 5. So let's get our hands ready, and I want you to count with me. Let's count by 5s. I always have my finger up top, and then when I say start, we will begin counting by 5s. Ready, go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Very good. So we know that there are 60 minutes in one whole hour. So when the hour hand goes all the way around back to its original spot, it's been 60 minutes, which means it's a new hour. So I've got my hour hand here, and then my minute hand is going to be the longer hand. I'm going to warm up first, and I'm going to ask you what time it is here. Now, you can tell which one's my minute hand because my minute hand is touching that number. What time do you think it is? Hopefully, you said 6:15, and if you did, you are correct. And remember, when we write it digitally, we write 6 as the hour, 15. Now, we talked earlier, before even telling time too, about AM and PM. AM is like when the morning it comes first, and then at noon, which is 12 o'clock, which is around lunchtime, it switches to PM because it's the afternoon or night. So right now I'm going to put AM. Very good. All right. So make sure you always label your clock too, and we remember that. But today I want us to talk a little bit about telling time to the minute. So let me fix my 3 here. And let's tell time to the minute. And you should remember, because we talked about it a little bit during class, about what numbers go in between. So we know with a minute hand we count by 5s. And then in between those little itty bitty lines is when we stop and count by 1s. Remember? So let me give you a time, and then I want you to tell me what time you think it is. Now, that might be a little hard for you to see, but hopefully if you pause it, you can see it. But you can tell the difference between my hour hand and my minute hand. So my hour is pointing to the 12, so I know it's 12. And then, can I count by 5s? Not yet, it's not quite there. So I'll just count by 1s. Count by 1s with me, you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know it's 12:04. And that's how we would write that. We wouldn't write 12:04 because that doesn't make sense. Okay? So we would write that 12:04. Or you might even hear people say 4 minutes past 12 or 4 minutes after 12. Either way is the same thing as saying 12:04. Let's do one more together. All right, so here we go. Let's see, I'm going to do, shorter. And then let's do, all right. Go ahead and look at that and let's see if you can tell the time. Give you a couple seconds. 1, 2, good. All right. So first I know I have to read my hour hand, and my hour hand is pointing to the 5, so I know it's 5. Now I have to figure out the minutes. So, I know it's past the 3, so I know I can count by 5s, but it's not to the 3 and it's not quite to the 4. So I can count by 5s and then I have to stop and count by 1s. So let's do it together. Here we go. Count with me. 5, 10, 15. Stop and count by 1s. 16, 17. So I know it's 5:17. This time I'm going to say PM. All right. That means I know it's at nighttime. Maybe you're cooking some dinner, eating dinner, or finishing up some homework. So 5:17 PM. So today you're going to practice on your timesheet, just like this on this paper here. You're going to be telling time. First, at the top, I want you to read the clocks and write it digitally. And then on the second row, it's giving you the digital time, and I want you to figure out how to write it correctly on the clocks. So remember, when you're telling your time to the minutes, that we're going to count by 5s, and then the little lines in between we count by 1s. Alright guys, hope this was helpful, and if you need any help, make sure to message me or call me, and I'll do the best that I can to help you. Alright, have fun today. Bye-bye.